Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Constance the Reader, and today we're doing another book tag. Y'all know that I said that I wanted to do more book tags that I personally hadn't seen other people do, and I'm really excited about this one today. I'm gonna put a little thing up, and I think you'll have a pretty good idea. If not, obviously guess what the hell it is by the clip. That's right, we're doing the Buzzfeed Unsolved Book Tag. You're probably thinking, what the hell? What? This was created? Yes, and I'm so happy. Now, of course, I didn't write down the person's name before I printed the paper off to read the questions, but I'm going to put it and everything else in the description box down below. Take this obviously as your invitation as a tag to do it. I really want to see other people do this tag because I think it's really fun. But without further ado, let's get into the BuzzFeed Unsolved Book Tag. SHANIAC, a book you don't think is deserving of its hype. So I want to start off by saying this is just my opinion. These are books that I've read that I was influenced by, like booktube and other platforms to read, that were like super duper hyped. And this one in particular hasn't really been hyped in a few years, but Nevernight, I think, doesn't really deserve a lot of hype. I can only speak for myself. I had to push myself through the first and the second book. So I finally got to the third book. I had to DNF it. I couldn't take it anymore. I realized that I was kind of forcing myself to read this because I thought, I have to like this, right? I have to like this. And I really didn't. So I personally just don't think it deserves that much hype. Plus the author, I don't want to get into it. You can look it up. You can look up why there's problematic things surrounding that author, surrounding the book itself. I don't think it's worth it. And next, I think most of the books by Riley Sager. So I was a fan of Home Before Dark, and I haven't read every single Riley Sager book. I got approved for NetGalley for the most recent one that came out, so I will be reading it, but I do think that a lot of Riley Sager books are kind of overhyped. For a mystery thriller, which I like as a genre, I do kind of feel like Riley Sager does this thing in some of the books where it's like, is it true crime or is it supernatural? And when he does both, I don't think it's done well. So The House Across the Lake is a perfect example of one where you think it's just going to be true crime, somehow supernatural aspects come in, and then you're hoping that it's one or the other, kind of like Home Before Dark, but no, they went with both, and I didn't like it. I didn't hate it, but I really didn't like it. And I do kind of feel like, you know, that's one of those authors that are really overhyped because of the name. Totally fine. A lot of people love books by Riley Sager, but I kind of feel like it gets a lot more hype than it probably deserves. Plus, there's been so many other like mystery thriller authors that I love, like Jennifer Hillier. Amazing. I love all of her books. There's tons of other like mystery thriller authors, not cozy mystery, but like mystery thriller, that are so good that like consistently I love their books. And obviously that's just down to personal preference, right? Because someone could absolutely hate Jennifer Hillier books, but I'm a fan. There's like only one that I didn't really like, and it is what it is. But those are my choices for that one. Question 2, BOOGARA. I want to stop and say that I am part of the BOOGARA clan. I love Shane, but I love Ryan so much. I am a believer of the hauntings, okay? I believe in ghosts, so I'm part of the BOOGARA fan club. But BOOGARA, a book that chilled you to your core. So this, I'm going to do 2 choices for you guys. So when I read this, I interpreted it like, what really like broke me. I'm a pretty emotional person in general, but a book that I think everybody should read that I absolutely feel chilled me to my core is Colson Whitehead's The Underground Railroad. I haven't read this in a really long time, but it has stuck with me since I've read it. It's one that I want to reread though, even though I know it's going to like hurt me again. The things that our main characters deal with in this book and the way that the book ends makes it that much harder. I won't give anything away. I'll just say that even though I had a feeling that the way this ended was how it ended, like that was the truth, it's not that that ruined it for me. It only made it more sad. that's what this book did to me. And I recommend everybody read it. And I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, okay? I read this earlier this year. I did not think that that's how it was going to end. I had a feeling that one of the characters was going to die. Just didn't think they were going to die like that. And then the aftermath of the people in their life having to deal with their death was also a lot. I cried quite a bit. I read it for a vlog and I cried on the vlog. So that was hard. That was hard. Okay, that was very, very hard. And I'm going to give an honorable mention to One Piece that I recently read on a vlog as well. I finished the Thriller Bark arc and I got the backstory for Brook, and that ruined my day in the best way. I still think about it and I still feel extremely emotional. It was just too much. One Piece is amazing. If we haven't guessed yet, I am a One Piece stan. I love One Piece. I will be recommending it for the rest of my life. I think that is fantastic, but that one really chilled me and hurt me and broke me. SHITFISH, a book you're not sure where you stand on. I went with A School Frozen in Time. So I read this 4-volume series earlier this year, or I finished it earlier this year. I liked the first volume, so I was really excited to continue on. I thought, oh, this is like kind of interesting. But then things got very confusing very fast. I also don't think I was totally in the mood to read this, which was probably the other issue. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And I kind of put it down thinking, I probably need to read this again later when I'm feeling like I'm in the mood, because I don't think I gave it a fair shot. But at the same time, like, it was very confusing. Like, obviously we're talking about like a weird like time issue, like different dimension type thing. I don't know. I can't even explain it to you. You're in the mind of someone. It's just very weird. Very, you know, science fiction-y, but like not, if that makes sense. So I don't know where I stand on with this. I wouldn't not recommend it, but I probably wouldn't recommend it either. Not in a bad way, just because like it wouldn't come to my mind as one that I would think, yeah, a lot of people would like this. Hey there, demons. It's me, ya boy. A book that kept you up at night. Oh, and I've been waving it around. Sorry. So anything by Darcy Coates, specifically Parasite. This one freaked me out so much. The first chapter scared me when I read it. I'm pretty sure I read this for Summerween, and one of the prompts, it probably was combined with something, but I read it in the dark, and that was the whole point. And it scared me. I had a nightmare immediately. And I only read the first chapter because I was really tired, and it was so good. Aliens scare me. Parasitic things scare me. This has a space scares me. This has that. And I just think the way that Darcy Coates writes books, like the way she ends her chapters, for me, I always feel like I just can't stop. Like I have to keep going. Like you kind of left it on a cliffhanger, ma'am, and I need to see what happens next, especially with the Caro Haunt. That was my first Darcy Coates book, and I liked it so much, but that book had me going and going and going. I just couldn't stop, and I read that very quickly. So it goes to Darcy Coates. She is amazing. I would highly recommend. The infamous Ryan WHEEZE, a book that made you laugh out loud. So my most recent book that made me laugh out loud was First Comes Like. I thought this was so cute. It's a romance, but it's definitely like a slow burn. Like we're getting to know each other. It's got so many tropes in it that I really liked. Fake dating. Oh my God, it was just so good. And I laughed a lot. And I think it was done really well to make it like very modern, but not in that like annoying way that some romances can be, where it's like, let's just like rely so much on Harry Potter references. And it's like, no, I don't want that anymore. Let's move on to something else. I love the main characters. I would love to see this as a movie. I mean, I could not even tell you who I think should be fan cast. I don't have a fan cast list for you right now, but I might do that. That's how much I liked this book. Can't talk about a manga that made me laugh without talking about Zom 100. This made me laugh and cry. I just love this. I would recommend it. I just recently watched the anime on Netflix and I also think it's really good. So far it's 3 episodes and I do think that y'all would like it. I'm watching it with my husband and he's enjoying himself. I love the characters. I am sad that it's going to be ending soon, but I am excited to see where it goes. I think that this is worth reading for sure. And then Mirko-chan is also one that I have laughed out loud for. Like, I know that a lot of people dropped it because I think everybody kind of felt like it was supposed to be like strictly horror, but it's not. It's got scary elements to it, but it's pretty funny. You know, we're talking about like young kids here, so you know you're getting like young kids shenanigans, but there's a deeper story, and that has made me laugh. It's got some really funny characters in it, so I would recommend that too. If you dropped it, maybe give it another try, see what else it has to give, because I do think that it is good. Mothman, a hyped fave. So a book that I actually do think deserves the hype that it got, and this is coming from someone who was a hater. Like, I was like, I'm not reading that. I will not like it. Cruel Prince. That whole series, I loved it. I think a lot of people's criticism of it was that people were saying that it was spicy. It was a spicy book. It's really not. I mean, sure, there's a bit of a, you know, like, ooh, you're kind of hot. You are also kind of hot type situation. But it's not a spicy book. It is really fun to read. I started that first book. I think I read that whole series in 1 month. It was so good. Like, that's how much I liked it. It even made me want to buy every book physically. So I was like, I might want to read this again. I got some of it from the library. Now I want to own it. Ugh, it was a lot. And I loved that so much. And of course, I got to say One Piece. Another series that I was like a little bit of a hater for. Like, I don't think that like pirate anime is going to be for me. It's more than that. Okay. Jump on this train with us, boat actually is what I should have said, and sail away, because this is an amazing book. This is amazing manga. This is amazing series. Everything about it is amazing. I cried the other day because somebody on TikTok made a video about who of the Straw Hats they think will have kids, and that sent me down like an emotional fucking spiral because I love this series so much. One Piece is amazing. I promise you, if you read it, you will like it. In my opinion, I think that One Piece is fantastic. Chef's kiss, Sanji. It's worth it. Read it. This deserves the hype it gets, period. Holy water. A book you'd protect with your life. So one of them that I really did not feel like getting on the ladder and getting down is The Promised Neverland. I love that series. I would highly recommend reading the whole thing. Don't watch the anime because they left out the Goldie Pond arc. It's just bad. And then it just ends in season 2. Like, no. It at least needed 3 seasons. As someone who read it, I would know. It needed 3 seasons, period. And it needed the Goldie Pond arc, period. That's fantastic. Another one, Noragami. I love this series. I think it is really good. It's got like more of a story than I thought it was going to have, and I would recommend it. One of my top 5, if not my number 1 picks would be Akame ga Kill, a very underrated series that I feel like not a lot of people have in their collections, which is totally fine. But I think that Akame ga Kill and the prequel are so fucking good. Like, I think the things that people like from Attack on Titan, you will like in Akame ga Kill. It's like, you know, the political intrigue, corrupt governments, you know, people who think that they are doing good when, like, you know, who are they morally gray? Who's really evil in this situation? Akame ga Kill has it all, okay? And I have it upside down, my bad. And I just think that it's fantastic, okay? I love this. I protect it with my life. And lastly is Women's War. It's a series that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about even when it came out. I really, really liked it. I think the whole series is so good. It's what got me back into reading adult fantasy, because I was kind of like, meh on it after reading so many long adult fantasies that just kind of, I just got burnt out on it. And that revived me. And it is so freaking good. Demons, a book you're too scared to read. Anything by Junji Ito. I am very anti Junji Ito because I already have a hard time with like body horror stuff. I can read something that has body horror in it, and obviously my mind will like paint a picture for me, but if I have to see it, it would be too much. The guy that has the holes in him, that's too much for me. I don't like tiny holes. Yes, I have that thing and I don't like it. And I see that Funko Pop everywhere. And I just keep thinking, why would you do that? Why would you turn that one into... Ugh, I'm disgusted. But for now, this mystery will remain unsolved. A book you needed more from and a book you didn't want to end. So a book I felt like I needed more from was Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. I really liked the premise of the book, but, you know, we're dealing with an unreliable narrator. Sometimes that can be like hit or miss in a book. And while I didn't think it was a total miss, I think towards the end it was kind of like, okie dokie. I kind of want us to pick up from this childhood trauma, not to be rude. And then the twist in it was like, I didn't totally hate it, but I don't know. I just think it needed more. I don't know what more it needed. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the love story kind of incorporated into this. I felt like it could do without that, and it needed more in other areas. But I would read this again, and I would recommend it because there's parts in the book that were so scary. There's this one scene in particular where if that was turned into a movie, it would have been frightening to behold. I would recommend this. I could also put A School Frozen in Time in that one. Like, I don't know what else it needed, but I felt like it needed something more to keep me. It is what it is. But the ones that I didn't want to end were the two books I've read by Tiffany D. Jackson. I didn't want it to end like that because, like, I was just so broken on the inside. White Smoke and The Weight of Blood were so good. And the way that they ended made me feel like, no, nope, you can't end it that way. I need more. Thank you very much. Do not do this to me. I definitely am a Tiffany D. Jackson. Like, she's auto buy for me moving forward. I love it. Need to read the other books by her, but those books got me. I was crying. It was too much, but it was so good. And if there was like a novella for it, I would love that. That would make me so happy. And then Goddess of Filth by V. Castro. I read that last year, I believe, and it was really, really good. But it was just so short. Like, I wanted it to be longer. That's why I kind of felt like I like it, but like, man, I wish that this was longer. Like, I want to know what happens to our main character after, like, more and more as she like embraces the Goddess of Filth within her. Because we kind of see a glimpse at the very end. Like, she has that moment, but I wanted more because it was just that good. Buzzfeed Unsolved, Postmortem, a book you still have questions about. I mean, obviously, Book Frozen in Time, but I went back a little further. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I read that with my sister a long time ago. I think it was like 2015. So I liked it when I read it, but that was like my first time reading anything that had to do with magical realism. And I since like kind of like it, kind of don't. I think I kind of lean more towards don't really like magical realism, but I wonder if I read that now at 33, would I still really like that book? So, you know, I've since watched people talk about the book, whether they liked it or not. The people who didn't really like it or didn't have like the best rating, like, I really thought that they had good points for what was a bit confusing about it. So it made me have to think like, would I still like this book if I reread it? So that'll just be something we have to discover later on in life. I do want to reread it. I've been thinking about it since I finished it. Like, oh, when I did more rereading of books back in the day. Now that I have a never-ending TBR, I don't really reread a lot. But I got some questions. And maybe I would have even more questions if I reread it. Hot Dagga, a trashy fave. Who else is surprised? I know you're not that I chose Anita Blake by Laurel K. Hamilton. This entire series is ridiculous. It is so over the top and ridiculous at times, especially once you get past like, I don't know, like the 10th book or so. There's orgies, there's sex, there's harems, like it's just so much. And like it veers so far away from like this first book. It's almost like a completely different series. I couldn't think of anything else that was would be considered like trashy that I've actually read. This one, my God, It's a lot. I definitely have to go with Laurel K. Hamilton for this. And there you have it. That's it. That is the BuzzFeed Unsolved Book Tag. As I said, take this as an invitation for a tag. I would love it if other people did this one. I thought it was really fun. And thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please like the video. If you like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on other social media in the description box down below. And thanks so much. Have a good day. Goodbye.